There's a new commissioner serving in District 2 in St. Lucie County. Find out who it is next on Inside St. Lucie. Hello and welcome to this edition of Inside St. Lucie, SLCTV's monthly government affairs show. I'm your host Eric Gill, Communications Division Director for St. Lucie County, and on today's show we're going to sit down and talk to newly elected St. Lucie County Commissioner Sean Mitchell. But before we do, here's some upcoming events and announcements from the Board of County Commissioners.
St. Lucie County offices will be closed Monday, December 24th and Tuesday, December 25th and Tuesday, January 1st for the holidays. Additionally, all St. Lucie County libraries and the Oxbow Eco Center will be closed on Saturday, December 22nd through Tuesday, December 25th, as well as January 1st. Join us in the studio for Covering the Bases with the Mets on the third Monday of each month, featuring the Chamber and the Mets. Be part of the live studio audience on the corner of Virginia Avenue and 25th Street and learn more about the important work nonprofits are doing here in St. Lucie County. Coffee with the Chair, which is typically held on the fourth Friday of the month at 8:30 a.m., will be canceled this month due to the holidays. A reminder that the Board of County Commissioner meetings are typically held at 6 p.m. on the first Tuesday and at 9 a.m. on the third Tuesday in the Commission Chambers of the Roger Poitras Administration Annex, 2300 Virginia Avenue, Fort Pierce. The Board typically holds an informal meeting on the second Tuesday at 9 a.m. in Conference Room 3.
Now for the latest updates about all St. Lucie County Commission meetings, workshops, and events, be sure to visit our website at stlucieco.gov and click on our comprehensive calendar in the lower right-hand corner. And if you'd like to be added to our press release distribution list, send us an email at slctv@stlucieco.org, and we'll be happy to include you. We also hope you'll follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, we're going to check in with the latest economic development stats with another St. Lucie Works.
The bed tax in St. Lucie County decreased by 23% in September compared to the previous year. However, overall, the tourism revenue for the year increased by 6%, creating another record-setting year, bringing in just over $4.1 million. Overall building activity decreased in September by 15% compared to August, with 876 permits submitted. Revenue for that same time frame was also down 31%, but still above the yearly average. According to the Florida Realtors Association, the average median home sale price in St. Lucie County for September was nearly $230,000, up 12% from last year, while condo sales jumped in value by 31% with a median price at roughly $217,000. St. Lucie County's unemployment rate fell to record lows to 3.7% in October compared to September's 3.8%. Last year, St. Lucie County's unemployment rate was 4.7%. Statewide, the unemployment rate was 3%. There were 4,200 more jobs on the Treasure Coast compared to last year at this time, with the largest gains in health and education services with 1,300, mining and construction with 1,200, and retail with 900. If you work for a local business looking for skilled or trained labor, be sure to contact the staff at CareerSource as they can assist your company with its recruitment and training needs. And if you're an individual looking for a new job, they can help you as well. Visit the CareerSource online at careersourcerc.com or call 1-855-4U2-HIRE.
My name's Kevin Bernini, and I'm a CNC programmer at Paradigm Precision. When I started here, I started as a machinist, and over the years I kind of developed my skills and knowledge. Still learning every day, but I was promoted to CNC programming recently. Being a machinist takes a lot of patience, a lot of time to kind of build your overall knowledge of where you're working. It depends on the processes they use, but it's a skill. It's an actual skill. My father, he was a machinist, so I've kind of always been around it my whole life. I sort of developed my own path and within that field, and I've always enjoyed it. It's always been challenging and rewarding at the same time. So to be a machinist like myself, I never had college experience. It wasn't until later in life that I decided to go to college, when I was more established in my career, when I knew what I wanted to do exactly and where I wanted to take it. We have a lot of departments within the company. I'm more familiar with the lathes and mills, machining aspects of the company. The CNC aspect is controlling these machines on somewhat of a grid system. The machines are controlled by the programs that we generate based on the material, the application, the tooling available. So we ensure the most efficient and productive program. There's a lot of potential to grow within this industry. It doesn't matter if you're a machinist or an inspector or a welder. The aerospace and machining in general needs people and it needs labor force.
Welcome back to Inside St. Lucie. I'm your host, Eric Gill, and I'm joined by newly elected St. Lucie County Commissioner for District 2, Sean Mitchell. Commissioner, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
My pleasure.
And congratulations for a race well run. It was a really tight across the board election night for a lot of our races.
It certainly was.
Some were still counting today, I think, right? I mean, I think not the local races, but it was a statewide election. It was I don't want to say a mess, but it was a long recount process.
It certainly was.
Luckily, you guys were decided, the two races we had, Commissioner Hutchinson were reelected, and you were newly elected to the board. And this was your first time running for public office?
That's correct. I've been a resident here for 27 years. I've always been involved in the county, whether it be through Special Olympics. I've sat on your Career Source Board for the last 12 years, your Contractor Licensing Board, and most recently your Planning and Zoning Board.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm familiar with it because we televise the planning and zoning meetings, and luckily I don't have to do that anymore. But we have a little bit of staff that stays late and does those things. But I've seen you around, like you said, going back to Career Source, that's where the Green Collar Training Center is, and that was, what, 2010?
I'm part of the building trades. I've thought about running for county commissioner, and I've been and I'm a member of the community.
That was actually in 2010. We partnered with the county, with Career Source, and several various apprenticeship programs. And we opened in 2010, right after Memorial Day, and it's still up and running. And we've graduated hundreds of young men and women from St. Lucie County through those programs.
Yeah, for those that may not, are new to the area that may not, what is the Green Collar Training
The Green
Center?
Collar Task Force, Eric, is a collaboration, as I just explained, where a young man or a young lady who lives in this region, as long as they have a high school diploma or a GED, is of 18 years of age, can pass a drug test, and also has a reliable vehicle to get to different projects, because when you build things, you're not going to the office, you're building the office. Yeah. So we collaborated with, we got a grant from the Obama administration back in 2010, and then we partnered up with the county and with the Career Source Board. And as I said in my campaign when I was running, what I bring to the table is vocational training. That's what I've done for my entire adult career. And my family, for example, my daughter's a public school teacher, but my son, not saying he wasn't college material, but perhaps he wasn't ready for college.
Sure.
So he went through a 4-year apprenticeship program, and today he's a homeowner in St. Lucie County, and he's a welder at your St. Lucie nuclear power plant. So there are pathways to the middle class, and that's one of the reasons I ran.
Absolutely, and I think that's kind of fallen on the wayside. I've got a freshman in high school this year, and you know, my wife and I, we've talked about that, like saving up for college, but there's a lot of other paths to the middle class than just going to college.
Absolutely.
And I don't know that I could afford college now. You know, I've got some nieces and nephews in colleges, and my brother-in-law told me what they're paying. Is that for real? Is that
very
1 year?
costly.
That's not 4 years?
That's not a 4 year.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely correct. And the niche with us is we don't charge tuition. There's no tuition fee. You'll pay for your books. You'll also pay for your tools that you take to work every day. But there are also grant opportunities through Career Source. We have a young fellow named Kevin Dove who actually lives in this county, and he went through Career Source, came to us, and they tooled him up. There was grant money for that. Awesome. So it's a perfect perfect segue into a middle-class job.
And I know the city of PSL has talked about that. Some of the vocational schools and the St. Lucie Public Schools has some great, unique programs, attractive programs like the MOA and
That's correct.
Embry-Riddle. You know, but I just finished the Chamber's leadership program, and we were out at A1 Trust and some of the places, and they're having trouble getting skilled labor. And
There's no doubt. I could tell you right now that all the building crafts, whether it be a plumber, whether it be a carpenter or an iron worker or a sheet metal worker, huge demand.
Yeah.
We can't turn them out quick enough.
Yeah.
And if we don't fix this problem, and it is a problem, you've got a huge expansion coming out at your port, huge expansion out at your airport.
Yeah.
What companies look at, I'll give you a perfect example. Amazon just chose New York City to do their corporate area there. Why? Because you had 300,000 people that were IT qualified for those jobs.
Yeah.
So if we get ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
because if we don't, pretty soon it's going to cost more to hire a plumber than it is for an attorney. And that may be that fact today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really enthused about the potential that St. Lucie County has. We want job placement, not only the training, but the job placement to create these middle-class jobs.
Sure. Now, I know I saw some of your speeches and debates and forums during the campaign, and you were supportive of the half-cent sales tax.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was three things that me as an individual and as a citizen of St. Lucie County that I was hoping for. One, that I got elected. I'm going to be a little selfish
Sure.
there. But number two was that Amendment 1 would fail, and that was taking the threshold of $50,000 to $75,000, where it wouldn't affect 40% of the people that lived in this county, but your county would have lost $8 million in revenue.
Yeah.
The firefighters and paramedics, $2.8 million in revenue. The city of Port St. Lucie, don't hold me to this, but I believe around $4 to $6 million.
I was gonna say.
And even Children's Services, $500,000.
Yeah.
So for Sean Mitchell to get $23. And that just made no sense to me, and I advocated, even during our debates, trying to explain to you, the public, that it's not a good bargain, because what library do you close?
Yeah.
What lifeguard do you tell you can't open the pools up today?
Yeah.
That, and then the half-penny tax. Because when companies come to an area, either expand or to create a new company here, there's three things they look at, in my opinion. One is your cost of living. I know our millage is high, but I constantly see going to and from on 95 down the West Palm Beach area, for example. Yeah. You'll see Palm Beach Police, Riviera Beach Police, Palm Beach Gardens Police. They all live up here.
Yeah.
Why? Because your cost of living, you look at your total cost of living, and it's much cheaper to live here. So that's one. Number two is your infrastructure. How do they get their products to market? So I'm very pleased that half-penny sales tax, so we can fix our waterways and improve on our roads and our lighting and our sidewalks.
Sure.
And the third is education.
Yeah.
That's what a company looks at. So if we train this workforce, where I have a vision, and I know that the rest of the commissioners will agree with me, is that if you train the workforce, it's just like you ever see the movie The Field of Dreams? If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah.
So I'm really, it's exciting times for St. Lucie County.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the millage rate, and being on the higher side, but property values are also lower.
That's
and
correct.
Doing some of the educational efforts we did in HOAs, I remember a woman said that, well, our millage rate's so high. I said, but your property tax is low, or your property values are low.
Your
Well, what
assessed
difference does that
value.
make? Well, because that's how the final bill that you pay,
That's
it's
correct.
one times the other.
Yes.
So if one is high,
You
the
can't
other is
use
low.
one without putting
Yeah,
to get one together.
Exactly. So, and not that the millage rate can't be lowered,
Of course.
especially as values continue to go up.
That's correct.
But like you said, having that dedicated half-cent sales tax for the infrastructure will take some of that burden
Oh,
off.
it meant the world to the citizens, and I'm so pleased that they rolled it out. The county and the different municipalities rolled out a perfect one this time. They really did. I was hesitant a few years ago because it wasn't rolled out properly.
Sure.
They had shovel-ready jobs.
Yeah.
You have to. I, as a county commissioner, now have to answer to you as your citizens that these things get done right. That money is only allocated for that. There's a 10-year life expectancy of it. So if everything goes perfectly, perhaps we'll go again but the proofs, and I always say the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
So make sure that you trust everything, but verify and make
Yeah.
sure that we do it the right way.
And I know part of the pitch for that too is we're gonna, for these projects, as much as we can, we're gonna hire local contractors.
Big
And
advocate
the counties
for
has
that.
had a local, and
Yes.
and again, I know you've pushed for the green collar apprentice program to be tied into some of these construction jobs, which I know when we get sometimes federal grants that becomes difficult. But
Well, you also have Davis-Bacon prevailing wage and things of that
Yeah.
nature. But Harvard University did a study, and if you keep a taxpayer dollars locally, instead, just a hypothetical here, you have a job coming up, and it's a construction job, and you have all your workers are coming from Orlando or Fort Lauderdale. Okay, your Motel 6s will do fine, your 7-Elevens will do fine, but they're not giving their tithes to their churches, they're not buying their clothes, and they're not doing their recreational activities here in our county. But if you keep the tax dollars here, that money gets spent 8 times over. Wow. So imagine that dollar now turns into $8.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm a huge advocate for local businesses, and also just as important, local workers for local jobs.
So in addition to, obviously, education and vocation, jobs are a priority for you. But I remember, I think a couple commissioners have told me when they've left the board, moved on to other offices. I remember, I think it was advice from Cliff Barnes, former county commissioner and judge. He said, find something you're passionate about and make that your priority. Right. Because, coming in, you'll soon find this out. The board is responsible for a lot of different things.
They certainly are.
Like you mentioned, libraries, roads, water quality projects, environmental resources. So it's hard to be an expert in all of that.
That's correct.
So what is your focus?
My focus will be on vocational training and all the projects that are coming up here in the county to make sure we have the trained workforce. That's been my passion my entire adult career. I believe I'm one of the experts on that, how you pathways to the middle class. Train them. Not only on the job training, so you earn as you learn, but classroom related activities. So we have a safe workforce that's productive. And I always tell my young men and women that I represent that go make that contractor money. Because when you're making money, he's going to hire more of us. Yeah. So that's a passion of mine, and I will really strive to make sure that vocational training's at the forefront. Yeah.
And you still have a full-time job?
Yes, but I've also I sat on many committees throughout the state, contractor licensing board here locally, but also vice president of the state building trades. I resigned from that. I sat on a workman's comp statewide. I was chairman of that. Okay. So I've really
scaled back
a lot of the activities that I have. But I'm a hard worker. My passion is to help people and to do the right thing for our county. So 40 hours to me has always been part-time work, and I promise the citizens that they'll get a hard-working commissioner here.
Great. What surprised you the most during the campaign? Because it was.
I thought I knew the county. Yeah. And I thought I knew the residents of the county, and the happiest it made me was I met a lot of the nonprofits. Graceway Village, exactly. Kathy, oh my God, I was not aware. I have a daughter who's a public school teacher, and when I went to Graceway and I listened to Kathy, oh my goodness, I didn't know that there was almost 2,000 young men and women that are homeless, that go to the public schools.
In our public school system.
And my daughter says to me, Dad, I have 2 in my class and 1 excels. Imagine if that child had a permanent
roof
home.
over their head,
and a stable environment. Yeah. So I think the nonprofits, I've seen Scott Van Duzer at Big Apple Pizza, where Laney got injured, and all the love and support that they do. And here locally, you had one of your county employees, which of course I didn't find out about it until it was over, but they raised over $12,000 for these children that she adopted. Yeah. So it's a great community. And I think the biggest thing along the campaign trail was meeting all the marvelous people of the county.
Yeah. Now, you serve District 2, but you're elected countywide.
That's
so
correct.
For those that may not know, what's District 2 comprised of?
That's the south end of your county, Gatlin, all the way east, Becker Road, all the way east, across US 1, and it actually represents the south part of our county.
Sure. So a little bit of Port St. Lucie overlap there, but they're all St. Lucie County residents.
Absolutely.
Now, moving forward, what are some of your future goals that you hope to accomplish here in the next 4 years?
Well, I always said, even along the campaign trail, that no matter what party you're from, we all breathe the same air, we all drink the same water. So I'm going to make it a priority also about our waterways. There's simple things we can do. I just realized on the campaign trail that during the rainy seasons you're supposed to use your pesticides like Roundup or whatever on your grass and things of that nature. But the companies sell it. Yeah. So you're at the home, and I'm not picking on anybody, but if you go to any one of those big stores that sell lawn equipment or anything,
fertilizers,
it's up on the shelves, and it shouldn't be. And I'd like to get with staff and the administration and see if we can just educate for the most part, to educate the consumers that, hey, not a good thing. All that runoff goes in, and we're not an industrial state. We're a tourist state. Yeah. So the most important thing is our pristine waterways. So I'll be passionate about that because our environment, God's given us a gift. We only get one shot at it.
Yeah, yeah. What about your personal hobbies?
Personal
What do you enjoy
hobbies,
besides working.
I have 6 children, a lovely wife named Deborah, and I have 7 grandbabies. When I get time, I do like recreationally golf. I'm not good at it. Well, that means I work too much.
I've
but
seen you out there a few times with
yes,
Fairwinds.
always, yeah, and always for, I like to participate in the different causes and the things that they do. But that, just spending time with my family, I really do. They say a man's legacy in life are his children, and I've been fortunate enough to have 6 of them, and they're my pride and joy.
Awesome. Well, Commissioners, anything else you want to mention before we wrap up the show, or any future plans of getting out there? I know some commissioners, like Commissioner Townsend, host monthly meet Commissioner talk. What does she call it? Time with Townsend is what she calls it. Different.
For
libraries.
the first part of till the end of this year, I just want to get myself organized where I can find the men's room in the county commissioner building and things of that nature.
It's a huge complex, so if you get lost, no one will blame you.
But I just want to make sure I get myself on my feet on proper ground and read. I love to read, and you'll see when things are proposed, I like to highlight and mark things down and make sure that I know my subject matter. So I'm a hard worker. I'm excited. These are very exciting times for St. Lucie County. Been here for 27 years, and I've never seen a brighter time than right now.
Yeah, we were talking off camera. I've been here 23, and to see a lot of the things when I first moved here in '97, and I was a reporter. One of the things was, what's the county doing at the port? What's it, for how? And now it's actually moving forward.
Fruition.
Yeah.
So we have one shot to do it right, and I look forward to working with Howard and the rest of the crew, and we have some great commissioners on this board, and I think collaboratively we'll do a great job. And at the end of the day, we answer to you, to the citizens, and I promise you I'll work hard, and I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to sit down and talk to you today.
All right. Well, we'll have you on again soon, Commissioner.
Thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap up the show. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Inside St. Lucie, and we hope you'll tune in again next month. If you have topics or subjects you'd like to see covered here on the program relating to St. Lucie County, give us a call at 772-462-1791 or send us an email at slctv@stlucieco.org. And if you'd like to see previously aired episodes of this or other SLC TV programs, visit our YouTube page at youtube.com/stluciegov. I'm your host, Eric Gill. For myself and the staff, we want to wish you a safe and happy New Year.